Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is pretty ambitious. We've taken this massive, just wildly diverse stack of source material.
Huge stack.
Yeah, everything from the subtle psychology of facial aging to the hidden rules of attraction and even the mechanics of online chaos. And we are going to try to pull out the essential operating manual for modern life.
That's it, exactly. And for you listening, the goal here is to really cut through the noise. We're not interested in, surface level self-help advice or what people say they want.
Right.
We want to get into the documented psychological, the physical realities that actually drive outcomes. We're looking for the mechanisms behind attraction, transformation, conflict.
And it often contrasts so sharply with what society tells us.
Absolutely. The documented truths versus the social norms.
Okay, let's just jump right in, starting where so many people struggle. Attraction, so much of what we think of as flirting is just, surface level stuff.
It is.
But our sources suggest that true sexual tension is psychological. It's built on these subtle actions that communicate competence, intention, and often by intentionally breaking a social script.
And what's fascinating is how primal that wiring still is, especially when you look at how women evaluate a man. Attraction, really, at its core, it's built on a feeling of competent safety.
Competent safety?
Yeah, and that safety isn't communicated through, expensive gifts or big gestures. It's through these incredibly subtle, intentional physical and verbal cues that show the man has this unwavering presence and control.
Over himself and his environment.
Exactly.
Let's use the perfect example for this. The hug. I mean, we've all given and received a million forgettable hugs.
Pat on the back.
The quick squeeze, the pat. Those are just signals for, platonic validation, social lubricant. But the hug that creates an echo, the one that makes you replay it later, that operates completely differently.
It communicates calm, non-needy, masculine control. And critically, it uses physical techniques that just bypass your logical brain. Well, most men, maybe from nervousness or just social conditioning, they tend to stay high on the shoulders. It's very formal, very low risk.
But the research suggests that's the opposite of what you want to do if you're trying to build tension.
Yes. The man who wants to create that echo, he places his hand gently on the lower back.
Okay, why there specifically?
That placement is crucial. It's a vulnerable, unguarded spot near the hips. It's a little possessive, and it taps into this ancient wiring that signals leadership and this subtle, unspoken feeling of, you're safe with me, you're mine in this moment.
And the timing has to be deliberate, I'm guessing.
Oh, absolutely. You hold the hug just one beat longer than normal. Then you release calmly, not abruptly. That tiny delay, it feels like unspoken desire.
Okay, and there's another detail that keeps showing up in the sources.
On neck.
Yeah. Let your face or your breath just brush against the side of her neck as you separate. It's so subtle, almost accidental.
But it's incredibly powerful. The neck is such an intimate, vulnerable, nerve-charged area. Her body reacts before her mind can even process what just happened.
So you've created this moment of physical tension with touch, but you still need that psychological follow-through. The sources all emphasize that after the release, you have to lock eyes.
For just one heartbeat longer than is socially comfortable.
Right.
And that deliberate, lingering look, it forces her to imagine everything you aren't saying out loud. It's this nonverbal communication that just screams potency and confidence.
Yeah.
That 1 second sticks in her mind way longer than any compliment you could pay her.
But that's just the physical side of it. Let's talk about the missing piece in most advice on attraction, which is the necessary mental tension. Our sources say women secretly crave that middle ground, between the guy who's too nice and the one who's too cold.
And that middle ground is teasing and challenge. Flirting isn't about agreeing on everything.
No.
It's about engaging in this confident, non-hostile verbal sparring. It shows mental strength. Teasing basically communicates, I'm not intimidated by you, and that push-pull becomes addictive.
You can see the difference immediately, can't you, in how a man reacts to just a minor social hiccup. So contrast response A, where a guy is super apologetic, oh, well, that's okay, no worries, my fault.
Right, differential.
E with response B, which is playful and confident, let me guess, you changed your outfit 3 times and you're still not happy with it. Response B creates tension. Response A just deflates the whole interaction.
And the contrast to this intentional presence, this light challenge, is what happens when a man falls into that nice guy trap. When he collapses, constantly asks for permission, for validation, he actually just exhausts her emotionally.
Because he's adding to her mental load instead of taking it away.
Exactly.
And the source material frames this as violating the fundamental rule of hypergamy, which they define in the context of partner selection as a biological survival thing.
Right, and if we just unpack the utility of that term here, hypergamy, in this context, just means the drive to partner with someone who increases your perceived chances of survival or prosperity.
So when a man demonstrates weakness or chronic neediness,
He appears not as a competent partner, but as a child or a burden. It forces the woman back into this resource-managing masculine role, which is the very thing she's biologically wired to seek relief from.
which of course ties directly into the pursuit principle. If you're constantly seeking validation, you eliminate the chase.
Completely. Human psychology is just wired to assign lower value to what's easy to get. So when a man is too available, too predictable, her brain stops producing that chemical thrill of the pursuit, and interest just fades.
But hold on, isn't that pursuit principle often seen as being manipulative? Like you're playing games? How do you maintain that scarcity without seeming, aloof?
That's a great question, and it's the core distinction. It's not about external manipulation. It's about internal value. A man maintains that pursuit principle by having an actual life.
A purpose, a mission.
A purpose, a mission, boundaries, things that genuinely make him less available. The challenge isn't faked. It's just a byproduct of having real competency and self-respect.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so once you understand these hidden rules of attraction, the need to project competence, the next question is how you sustain that magnetism over the long haul.
Which brings us to the science of longevity and physical transformation. We're shifting from psychological competence to physical competence.
And the sources offer a really clear blueprint for looking and feeling younger. It all starts with being proactive instead of reactive.
The whole goal, according to facial rejuvenation specialists, is to avoid waiting until a major surgery is your only option. The mantra is, intervene early and consistently. If you wait until wrinkles are deeply etched, your options are just so limited.
And the science behind why being proactive is so important is, frankly, startling. We found data showing the face loses roughly 1.5 cc's of facial fat and 1% of collagen.
That collagen doubles to 2%.
Wow! By age 40, you've lost about 20% of your collagen and a staggering 30 cc's of facial fat. That is the real biological challenge we're up against.
So aging is fundamentally a volume loss issue. It's not just about your skin stretching. Replacing that lost volume with carefully placed injectables provides this small but critical lifting effect by changing the tension of the connective tissue.
It supports the structure.
Exactly.
Which explains why facelifts alone can sometimes look incomplete. Just cutting away excess skin doesn't restore that lost volume. That's why they're so often paired with fat grafting now. You have to rebuild the scaffolding.
But the injectables aren't the whole story, not even close. To maximize attractiveness, you need those supportive lifestyle habits, resistance training, meticulous sun protection, and also body composition is key. Being overweight challenges tissue support, but being underweight also works against you because you lack the fat pads for useful contours.
Let's shift specifically to body composition, especially for women in midlife looking for a real transformation. The biggest lever, according to all the sources, is consistency in resistance training.
And this is such an empowering message. The evidence suggests there are no statistical sex differences in the rate a woman can gain muscle, even post-menopause.
That's a huge reframing.
It is. The main limitation isn't biology. It's a lack of consistent, intense effort.
So, for a strong beginner woman, the suggested training would be, 3 to 4 days a week, focusing on compound functional movements?
We're talking squats or leg press, aiming for body weight for reps. The hip thrust, which our sources call the #1 choice for glutes, and a functional push exercise, like a flint push.
And they specifically noted that the bench press can be problematic in midlife because of shoulder and elbow issues.
Common issues, yeah.
Yeah.
And that training has to be supported by nutrition. One source suggested the European Girl Plate as a simple, effective strategy for women over 40. It helps preserve muscle, reduce cravings, and just feel balanced.
What does that look like, practically?
The ratio is key. Half the plate is produce and fiber vegetables, fruit. A quarter is protein, plant-based or animal-based. And a quarter is healthy fat. The focus on fiber is huge, aiming for 20 to 25 grams of quality fiber a day. It helps regulate blood sugar, improves satiety, and directly tackles that craving problem.
Now, we do need to touch on the more extreme end of the nutrition world, which comes up a lot in longevity research. Our sources talked about protein restriction, specifically sulfur amino acid restriction, or SAR.
Right, which has shown these remarkable longevity results in animal models, specifically in mice.
But, and this is a a critical scientific caution we need to mention.
A huge one. Those animals are kept in sterile, super clean environments. They're never challenged by pathogens or stress. We have no idea what the effect of that nutrient stress is when you layer it on top of the chaos faced by a free-living individual.
Meaning a human being in the real world.
Exactly. Applying those findings directly to humans is extremely risky. The cost of maximizing your lifespan might be minimizing your ability to fight off the flu.
Right. So self-trust, competency, it's key in your body and in how you handle information. And that leads us perfectly into the digital world, the new complexities of information and relationships. We found 2 quick, practical AI hacks for the perpetual learner.
The first one uses large language models, not just to validate your own opinions, but to actively counter-fact-check your own bias.
So you get the AI to argue against your viewpoint.
You do. It's like intellectual sparring in a safe space. It forces you to find and strengthen the weak points in your argument before you present it to a critical audience. It just raises your intellectual game.
The second hack is all about efficiency, saving specialized context documents on your desktop. For niche topics like business accounting or a specific academic field, you feed these to the LLM at the start of your session.
And this just drastically improves the quality of the answer because you've given the AI specific knowledge it lacks. It stops you from having to constantly reprompt or explain the backstory over and over.
Now for the darker side of digital life, hidden relationship dynamics. The sources were very strong on the need to distinguish between privacy and secrecy.
They're not the same thing. Privacy is establishing a need for alone time. I need some time to work or recharge. Secrecy is transactional. I have a conversation or an activity I don't want you to see.
And that distinction is so critical, isn't it? A person who screams privacy when asked a simple question might actually be using that as a shield for secrecy. The sources detailed examples of digital double lives, secondary social media accounts, specific group chats used as a war room to crowdsource manipulation tactics.
That war room dynamic is fascinating. It's where people pool their knowledge to advise each other on relationship strategy. It can include coaching on how to withhold affection, mock a partner's performance, even coordinate lies about income. It's crowdsourced conflict.
And this issue of hidden power dynamics, it gets amplified exponentially in high-stakes professions, specifically in the context of sex work, where enforcing boundaries becomes a matter of physical safety.
The insights from full-time escorts were revealing. They often leave conventional careers because they feel that in sex work, the universe meets them halfway. They have this unique sense of control, but every single interaction is a negotiation of power.
So the essential lesson from that world is the absolute need to separate the private persona from the work persona.
And to learn to set ironclad boundaries instantly. Our sources discuss these critical boundary violations where the worker felt deliberately tested. Intentional defiance of a non-consensual acts performed against explicit instructions.
And the takeaway for you, for the listener, is that the ability to navigate that, to enforce a boundary the moment it's tested, is learned on the job in high-stakes environments. The only way to survive is to cultivate complete self-trust and be proactively vocal about those boundaries.
You have to be, to minimize the chance for negative power dynamics to take hold.
Let's end with a macro view of chaos, the online outrage machine. Using the case study of a viral incident with a Cybertruck, our sources explain that the comment section is not chaos. It's a moral sorting mechanism where people follow these incredibly predictable scripts.
People aren't just choosing a side, they're choosing one of about 7 distinct, recurring moral roles to play in the drama. And these roles fulfill different psychological needs for them.
Let's highlight 3 of the most common characters you'll see in every single comment thread. First, you have the faithful moralist.
Fool around and find out.
Exactly. They believe in cosmic, street-level justice. They see the event not as a tragedy needing sympathy, but as the natural, desired result of a bad decision. Their whole contribution is about enforcing brutal, immediate order.
Second, you have the meme alchemist. This role steps in to diffuse the collective discomfort with clever wordplay like changing the streamer's name from clavicular to vehicular.
Right, they let people engage with the event and feel part of the community without having to feel the full weight of the trauma or the responsibility.
And third, the identity moralizer. They filter the entire event through pre-existing identity categories, race, wealth, and privilege, to anchor the chaos in larger ongoing social battle.
They're using the incident as ammunition for a war they were already fighting.
Precisely. And the key insight here is that the sorting is real and it's predictable. The tone set by the original content creator, retributive, skeptical, humorous. It determines which of these moral roles will dominate the comments. The cast is always the same, but the director decides who gets the spotlight.
Wow, this has been an absolute sprint across the hidden rules of human behavior, hasn't it?
It really has. We've uncovered the primal psychology for attraction, the long-term commitment needed for physical transformation, the need for radical transparency in digital relationships, and the predictable scripts of online conflict.
And the common thread through all of it seems to be the importance of understanding and establishing boundaries, whether they're personal boundaries in dating, physical ones in health, or intellectual ones in the digital sphere.
That's it. The ability to define and maintain those lines is the key to minimizing external chaos and maximizing your own internal potency.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought. Given that attraction relies so heavily on projecting confidence, competence, and certainty, on stabilizing the energy in a room by being self-contained and potent.
Then consider this. How does the fear of being Jumanji'd, that specific fear of uncontrollable external chaos suddenly erupting from a mundane situation, how does that fear undermine the critical sense of self-trust you need for magnetism? It's something to mull over in a world that feels both scripted and chaotic at the same time.
Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.